Do the thing. I'm not going to let you get off that easily just because I said that I'd do a different video tomorrow. I mean, I am going to do a different video, but I just wanted to open it up by saying, do that thing I said you should do yesterday. Did you do it? Or did you see that video and you're like, that's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I needed. I needed a YouTube video to tell me to do the work, and then like, you know, as you're thinking that the next video auto plays, you're like, did you let that happen? Because if you did, I'm right there with you, bucko. But just do it, you know. In my last video, I talked about, the reason I'm opening with that is because I'm now going to start talking about all the other non-advice stuff, like, or at least like not direct advice. And it's not important. Like, it's all masturbation, all philosophy about art, all advice about art really is just blah, 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 blah. But it's fun. I don't know, I like to do it. So with that in mind, with me relinquishing any hope of this being actually a helpful exercise, let's talk about it. I think, in my last video, I talked about not everyone is an artist. And it's true, not everyone is an artist, not everyone is creative, not everyone is original. But you don't have to be creative or original to be an artist. That's kind of the point that I'm making here. And it's a form of encouragement for people who self-describe themselves as being non-original or non-artistic. If you think of yourself as non-original or non-artistic, you can still make art. There are lots of people who I would define as artists who make art that is not creative or original. And I don't say that as a diss. I say that as someone recognizing game when I see it. Let's look at a spectrum. Innovation versus iteration. On the iterative side of the spectrum, you've got a guy who's really good at playing Wonderwall. He can play Wonderwall better than anybody. His Wonderwall skills are unparalleled, okay? And that's actually a pretty tough position to be in because there's a lot of people who want to play Wonderwall. So you have to be better than all of them. And that guy's playing Wonderwall so well that, like, you know, he's the top of his game. And everyone's just looking up to him. Ugh, I wish I could play Wonderwall as good as that guy. Then as you get more and more innovative, you start being like, okay, maybe I don't just play Wonderwall. Maybe I play lots of different cover songs from this one band. More innovative. Okay, now I play lots of different cover songs from all kinds of different bands in rock. More innovative. Okay, now I play cover songs from every different genre of music, and I've got like one of each genre, and I'm very like versatile in what I can play. More innovative. Okay, now I write my own songs in a couple of different genres, but the songs themselves follow all of the formats and rules and regulations of those genres. More innovative. Okay, now I can write in any genre pretty much, and sometimes I make my own sound, like weird sounding music that I think feels kind of like its own genre. And then more innovative, and now you're like, you know, you're like playing a piano with your feet and like licking a drum or something. I don't know. That's like the extreme end of the innovation spectrum, where you start incorporating completely unrelated things in order to elevate the art and make it completely new. And you'll notice on both ends of that spectrum, they're good. Because like a guy who can play Wonderwall really well, that's really good. And a guy who's like and somehow like smashing his head against the wall and making it rhythmic, that's also good, you know? Very interesting in both directions. But where you don't want to be is that filthy centrist. I believe this unironically. And I believe this about basically every kind of hypothetical spectrum I construct. But like the middling zone, I don't know about that one. It's like, what, you can make, you know, most people are in the middle end of the spectrum is the thing. And art sort of rewards people who are different. And so if you're going to play the iteration game, you had better have a real work ethic to you, because systematic thinkers are really good at like learning the rules and regulations of a format. A systematic thinker is really good at learning the guitar chords and every single chord, every single combination of chords and all of that. I mean, and then playing and mastering that craft. But for a innovator, that person is going to have a lot harder of a time being systematic and learning like technical skills instead, because they're going to be so focused on wanting to push the boundaries and innovate and create, that they're going to be much less likely to have good technical skills. This is just something I've noticed in my time surveying the art landscape and in my time identifying with art as an identity, which I'll talk about tomorrow. There's that thing. There's that thing I'm going to throw off into the future. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll pick up on something different. Keep me on my toes. Who knows? I'll just talk about whatever I want to talk about. Anyway, innovation is a lot like you're walking into the desert while everyone is like competing for the same things. So like you've got this city with lots of resources and lots of people like these things that people are fighting over, and everyone's just like trying to climb to the top of this hierarchy. An innovative person is like, I'm gonna walk off into the desert, dig my own niche, and then I'm gonna crawl into that niche. And most people die in the desert, but some lucky guy carves out a niche and says, "Aha! I've made a niche! Yay!" And then he's happy for a year, and then a year later it gets discovered, and then everyone jumps in and it's like, a niche for me, wow, wow. And that niche becomes a part of the, that niche can become like a whole new city where everyone is like ravenously fighting over scraps. And then you get bored and you're like, that same guy is like, time to go off into the desert. I guess this is my life until I starve. So if you followed that, basically the idea is just iterators probably have trouble. If you're an iterator, if you're an iterative person, if you like taking something that already exists and building atop it, then you're going to have trouble with pushing the boundaries and being like avant-garde. And that's fine, because not every artist can be an avant-garde artist. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you don't want that. That's not a healthy place to be. But avant-garde artists, if you're more open, if you're more, I want to really push the boundaries of art, blah, 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 you're probably going to have trouble even pushing the boundaries of art, really, if you can't master any technical skills. And if you're so focused on being creative and artistic and pushing the boundaries, then you're probably not going to, you probably need to learn some technical skills. So here's an example. Like, if you're an iterative artist, you're probably, if you self-identify as non-creative, this is partially a video for the non-creatives, or people who self-identify as non-creatives. I think you should try to make art anyways, if you're interested in making art, because you don't have to be necessarily super creative to make art, or even like a little bit of creative. You can be like just really systematic. And pottery. If pottery, there's like so much skill that goes into pottery. You can spend most of your time not worrying about, innovating or creating or any, like, being really like form breaking, because obviously you're trying not to break the form. That's the whole point. You're like just focusing on like, I'm gonna not break this form. I'm gonna like slowly mold the form, and it's not gonna break. It's not gonna shatter, right? And there's gonna be obviously room for creativity in pottery. Don't at me, pottery bro. One of the rules I set for myself was that I would try to do this all in one take. And now I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to cut. So what's the point of all of this? Could it help you to figure out if you're more innovative or iterative? I'm going to go ahead and say no. No, this one was pretty much pointless. Yeah, but it's fun to think about. It gets the noggin jogging. Okay, hold on. There's got to be a point here, right? Like, I didn't just say all of that for fun. All right, fine. I'll give you some practical advice. If you are overly iterative, you have three options. One, you can remain where you are. That would be fine. Two, you can lean into that iteration and go super ham on iterating and iterating and iterating to the point where you break through your iteration and you start becoming innovative somehow. If you play Wonderwall so well that you're playing Wonderwall better than the original people played Wonderwall, you might transcend Wonderwall, and what you play might be just something completely different. And then in that tweak, in that difference, you are reaching a whole new area. I mean, Game of Thrones, there's a strong case to be made that was an iterative version of Tolkien's work. You take, Tolkien's work, but you tweak, you iterate one little axiom, which is you make it realistic. And the whole world changes. The whole world changes. It's a completely huge axiomatic change. So I don't know. I think there's a bit of a horseshoe theory between iteration and innovation. I can explain it to you. I mean, the innovator goes out, digs his hole, and then if it's successful, that hole becomes solidified and you can build down into it. The iterator, he can iterate to the top of his little hierarchy and then just keep iterating to the point where he has made something entirely new. And I guess the broader point is that, if you are convincing yourself that you're not an artistic person, oh, I can't do art because I'm not an artistic person, blah, 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 blah. It's probably just a form of resistance. It's probably just you pushing against the thing that you need to make. Now, if you don't feel the need to make the thing, that's a different story. Not everybody needs to be an artist, wants to be an artist, should be an artist. But if you do feel that need, and you also feel that deep inside that you calling yourself not a creative person is just like an excuse you're making for yourself, then stop it. I would say stop. Yeah. So there you go. I cobbled together a point there last minute, but I wouldn't take it too seriously. Bye-bye.